Have you seen this thing yet? It's a new electric car called the Dongfeng Box, and, it's stylish, it's absolutely packed with features you'd normally find in a way more expensive car, and it's starting to show up everywhere. The catch? It has a price tag that it seems almost impossible. But this one little car is right at the heart of a huge global economic battle. All right, let's get into it.
So yeah, from the streets of Europe all the way to New Zealand, the Dongfeng Box is really making waves. It's this chic electric hatchback out of China, and it's turning heads not just for how it looks, but for what you get at its ridiculously low price. And that price, well, that's the real mystery we're going to unpack here.
I mean, seriously, how can a car with heated seats, all these cool driving features, and a giant touchscreen cost less than some basic gas-powered cars? Is it just some kind of genius engineering, or is there something else going on behind the scenes? Let's break down exactly how this is even possible.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll start by getting to know the car itself. Then, we'll uncover the secret sauce behind that price tag. We're going to look at the role government support plays, ask if there's a catch, because there's always a catch, right? And see how this one vehicle connects to a brewing global trade war. And finally, we'll bring it all home to the dilemma this creates for all of us.
So first, let's get up close and personal with this car. Reviewers who get their hands on it are just consistently blown away by the quality and the number of features you get for the money. This is definitely not your bare-bones, stripped-down economy car.
Yeah, this quote from a review in New Zealand pretty much sums it up perfectly. We're talking about features that are usually pricey extras in other cars, things like frameless windows, front seats that are both heated and ventilated, and get this, a 50-watt wireless phone charger that has its own cooling vents so your phone doesn't get hot. I mean, come on, that's some serious attention to detail.
All right, so how on earth did they pull this off? Well, the answer isn't just one single thing. It's really a perfect storm of smart strategy, massive scale, and just ruthless competition. Let's dig into that. Okay, a huge piece of the cost of any electric car is, of course, the battery. And this is where Chinese car makers made a truly brilliant bet years ago. See, Western companies, they mostly focused on these powerful but really expensive NCM batteries. That's nickel, cobalt, manganese. But Chinese companies, they poured money into a cheaper, safer alternative, LFP, or lithium iron phosphate batteries. They bet they could improve the tech, and guess what? It paid off big time. The performance gap is pretty much closed, but that price gap is still enormous.
The second ingredient here is just sheer mind-boggling scale. With a home market of 400 million middle-class consumers, companies like Dongfeng and BYD can reach profitable production numbers incredibly fast. It's an advantage that is just so hard to compete with. And the final piece? Hyper-competition. Imagine this. You have over 200 EV companies all fighting for those 400 million customers. It is a brutal, fast-moving market that forces them to constantly innovate and slash prices just to survive. It's a classic case of innovate or die.
But there's one more piece to this puzzle, and it's a pretty controversial one. This secret sauce has also been supercharged by a massive, sustained, and very strategic industrial policy from the Chinese government. Just look at this number. An analysis from the Center for Strategic and International Studies estimates that the Chinese government has poured nearly 231 times billion dollars into its EV sector since 2009. That's not just a little support, that's a jaw-dropping investment. And this wasn't just some early-stage boost to get things going. The funding has actually accelerated dramatically. It went from about $7 billion a year to $20 billion a year, and then in just the last few years it doubled again to over $40 billion annually. This is long-term strategic industrial policy playing out in real time.
So where did all that cash go? Well, the huge majority of it went directly to making the cars cheaper for people to buy. We're talking buyer rebates and getting rid of the 10% sales tax. The rest went into things like building charging stations, funding R&D, and having the government itself buy fleets of EVs.
So, you've got a feature-packed, innovative car made cheap by smart decisions and a whole lot of government cash. It really does sound a bit too good to be true, doesn't it? And, well, as you probably guessed, there are some pretty big catches we need to talk about.
First and foremost, let's talk safety. Because while the features feel premium, the crash test rating, not so much. The Dongfeng Box only got a 3-star safety rating from Euro NCAP, not the 5 stars that most of us expect these days. The report actually pointed out some serious concerns, like spot welds on the car coming loose during the crash test. Yikes.
The other catch is an economic one. All of that government money has led to what's called massive overcapacity. Basically, China can now make way more EV batteries and cars than its own market can possibly buy. This creates a glut, forcing them to export these super low-priced cars around the world. And that's what Western countries are calling unfair competition.
And that right there brings us to the global stage. This flood of cheap EVs isn't just shaking up the car market, it's kicking off a full-blown trade conflict as other countries scramble to protect their own car industries.
And the reaction has been fast and, frankly, pretty harsh. The United States has basically blocked these cars from entering the country with a massive 100% tariff, and the European Union is right behind them, slapping on its own heavy tariffs of up to 38%. These are essentially giant defensive walls going up around the Western car market.
And this really gets to the heart of the whole thing. It's not just about one cool, affordable car that you might see on the street. It's about the gigantic industrial engine behind it. An engine that's been supercharged with state funding and is now aimed directly at the entire global market.
So all of this, the cool tech, the government subsidies, the trade wars, it all comes down to a really complicated choice. Not just for governments, but for you, the person who might actually buy one of these cars.
Let's break it down. On the one hand, this intense competition means more affordable electric cars for everyone. It means faster innovation, and hey, it helps us hit our climate goals faster. That's a huge win. But on the other hand, you've got serious questions about safety, a real threat to jobs at legacy automakers, and all this growing geopolitical tension. It's a tough one. There are no easy answers here.
So what is the Dongfeng Box, really? Is it a brilliant piece of affordable innovation that's good for consumers everywhere? Or is it the tip of the spear for an unfair system that could completely upend a global industry? The truth is, the future of driving is parked at a crossroads, and as these cars start rolling into showrooms near you, we're all going to have to decide which way we turn.